Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be part 1 of a 3-part series in which I will share with you some colored pencil blending techniques, and we're going to be using Crayola to make it a little bit of a challenge. And these are the colors we're going to be using. Very basic: orange, red, blue, violet, and an orange yellow. And I find that layering is the way that produces the best results when it comes to, color pencils and blending techniques. Of course, this is subjective to each individual. And this is also the way that takes the longest time and the more patience. Because we start to build up values by gradually adding colors. In this case, we started with a very, very light layer of red, sort of like all over the petals. Very, very light, you can barely see. And then I went on top of that with blue to establish where the shadows are. And again, very, very light, preferably with the side of the point of the pencil, not the point itself, but the side. And then what I like to do is I like to work on little circular strokes, so that you cannot see many lines, and then one color just blends, one color becomes the other one in a seamless way. And this is pretty much what we're going to be doing again and again, like one layer on top of another one. Now, I showed you at the beginning that beside red and blue, I'm also working with orange. Like here you can see I'm working with orange, and I'm using orange as a transition color. And what I mean by that, just think of makeup if you are interested. Sometimes I watch, makeup tutorials. You know how sometimes when you apply shadow and then you want to apply a different shade, you use a color that's sort of in between to transition from one shade to another one. So this is the same thing. In this case, I'm using orange to transition from my darkest red to my lightest red, or my midtones to my lightest areas. And then I'm using purple to transition from the blue, which are the shadows, to the red, which are my midtones. So it's the same thing. Once I add a little bit of blue and a little bit of red, I go over that with some purple to sort of blend both colors together. And at this point, I'm starting to like the way the flower's looking. It doesn't look like a flat drawing anymore. You can see some dimension to it. And what I did with the flower, I drew something that sort of resembles what you can find at coloring books. So it's not a realistic drawing, but rather a cartoonish style type of drawing. And in terms of intensity, you're not gonna accomplish a super bright drawing by using Crayola pencils, but you can still achieve something beautiful, and that's the point I want to prove. Sometimes, especially for practicing, sometimes it's all in how you work with what you have. If that makes any sense. It doesn't matter if you have the most expensive tools. If you don't know how to use them, you probably end up with something that doesn't look nice. So what I suggest to do for practicing is to work with, lowest quality. That's gonna do a couple of things for you. It's gonna be a challenge. You're gonna have to make it work, right? And also, it's not going to cost you as much, so you can practice all you want. You can make all mistakes you want, and it's not going to hurt your wallet as much. Personally, I love Crayola brand in general. You've seen my videos. I'm not sponsored or anything, but I love their color pencils, and I love crayons, wax crayons. And so if you've seen my other videos, you probably know this already. But anyways, back into the drawing. You can see how it starts to pop. The colors start to pop a little bit, and now you can definitely see that it looks a little bit more three-dimensional. Now I chose blue and blue and purple for shadows and stuff, but it doesn't really matter which colors you choose. I could have used a black or brown even. You could use a brown or black. Personally, I don't like using black for shadows. I find that using other colors make it more interesting. And for this rose, I sort of wanted it to have like pinkish, vibe to it. And because I knew the red was not gonna be so bright, I tried to create, the interesting effect with using what I had. So here I'm going, I'm pressing the pencil a little bit more harder just because I'm pretty much happy with the way it's looking. And so I'm blending by pressing a little bit harder. As you can see, my pencil is not sharpened, and that's on purpose. If I work with a sharpened pencil, I end up burnishing the paper. So as you can see, the tip is round, and that makes it a lot easier to blend. And when it comes to the lightest parts, where the light hits, in this case the flower, I chose not to leave it white. I chose to go over it with the red, but lighter than the rest of the flower. And again, this is something that's up to your personal taste. You could use a bright yellow, for instance, to go over the lightest parts, and that will make it super cool looking. Or you can come back at the end with something like a gel pen, like a white gel pen, and accentuate those areas even more. But I chose not to do any of that for this particular tutorial because I just wanted to show you what you can accomplish from a basic perspective by simply, building color gradually, building one layer on top of another one. And I decided to let this bit at the end where I show you the real time in which I was coloring, just as a reference. But at this point I was happy with the rose for this particular tutorial. Let me know in the comments if it was easy to follow. I will be posting the second part, hopefully, if not this week, next week. And like I always say to all of you guys, thank you so much. To the new subscribers, welcome. I'm very happy to have you. And like always, I will see you next time. Bye.